Gentlemen, this is a time of profound uncertainty and insecurity for refugees globally. Collective failure to resolve conflict, to govern equitably, and to address climate changes are driving major crises of displacement. As millions more flee their homes and fight for survival, the international humanitarian response is weakened by wavering political commitment and severely reduced funding, making today's pledges even more critical. Global solidarity is waning, with countries in the Northern Hemisphere becoming increasingly impenetrable for people fleeing conflict. Providing protection and assistance to refugees is a binding international obligation enshrined in treaties and customary international law. However, it has now become a deeply polarizing domestic political issue. The groundbreaking Global Compact on Refugees, aimed at promoting better international responsibility sharing, is also being undermined. We can undoubtedly do more to support host countries, enhance refugee self-reliance, and implement durable solutions. But we cannot accept rhetoric and action that dehumanize refugees and criminalize the right to seek safety. Dear colleagues and friends, I'm addressing you today as the Commissioner General of UNRWA, as you heard from Philippe, the United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees. UNRWA was established prior to the adoption of the 1951 Refugee Convention as a temporary agency mandated to provide protection and assistance to Palestinian refugees pending a just and lasting solution to the plight. 75 years later, in the absence of a political solution, UNRWA continued to provide essential public-like services, including healthcare and education, to millions of Palestinian refugees in Gaza, the occupied West Bank, Lebanon, Syria, and Jordan. More than in the complex operational environment of the occupied Palestinian territory, the agency humanitarian and human development work has come under sustained attack. More than 380 colleagues have been killed in Gaza, and more than 300 premises have been damaged or destroyed in the past 2 years. Israeli domestic legislation has effectively expelled UNRWA international staff from the occupied Palestinian territory. Fortunately, thousands of our Palestinian staff remain and can continue providing services to Palestinian refugees. The pressure, however, is relentless. Last week, Israeli police and municipal officials forcibly entered the UNRWA headquarters in occupied East Jerusalem, seizing assets and replacing the United Nations flag by the Israeli flag. This action a flagrant violation of the privileges and immunities of the United Nations. But they also blatantly disregard the October 2025 ruling of the International Court of Justice, which obliges Israel to agree to and facilitate UNRWA's operation. The effort to dismantle the agency and end its operation in the occupied Palestinian territory are intended to strip Palestinians of their refugee status outside the parameter established by the General Assembly and the Security Council for resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. This action set a dangerous precedent for refugees, for humanitarians, and ultimately for our multilateral system. Conflicts and refugees crises cannot be resolved in defiance of international legal obligation and in pursuit of political agendas. This only serves to erode the rule-based order that underpins effective multilateral action and our collective safety and prosperity. Dear colleagues and friends, I'm often asked how we should respond to the immense challenges confronting the rule-based order, of which the international legal regime on refugees is an integral part. Is there a balance to be struck between holding firmly to legal and humanitarian principles and pragmatic accommodation of political realities? While compromising is a central tenet of resolving conflict and dispute, I believe that core principles and values cannot be negotiated. For humanitarians, our ability to provide life-saving assistance depends on strict adherence to the principle of humanity, independence, impartiality, and neutrality. We cannot, under any circumstances, be part of effort that violates this principle by discriminating against people in need of assistance or politicizing human suffering. Refugees' crises, including their drivers, are deeply complex. Effective and lasting solutions can only be found through strong and principled political action backed by robust financial support. I stated at the beginning of my remarks that this is a time of profound uncertainty and insecurity, but we do not have the luxury of despair or inaction. We must persist in a vigorous defense of the right and welfare of refugees and of our common humanity and shared values. There is too much at stake to do differently. Thank you.
Thank you.